2011 Relic Entertainment releases Space Marine. Fans love it, critics love it. THQ goes bankrupt. That's the end, right? 13 years later, a Russian company resurrects a dead franchise. They launch it to 2 million players in 24 hours. What do they know that we don't? What do they know that everybody else doesn't? How did they make the best Warhammer game ever made? Welcome to the archives. I'm Nicholas, your file clerk. The case file FCB4K2 Jello. Let's establish the evidence. 2011's Space Marine was a cult classic. Brutal melee combat, satisfying gunplay, pure Warhammer 40k power fantasy. You played as Captain Titus, a Space Marine fighting orcs and chaos on a Forge world. No regenerating health, no cover, shooting, just execute enemies to heal. For over a decade, fans begged for a sequel. But there's just radio silence. The archives ended up going cold. December 2021, the Game Awards. A trailer drops. Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2. But it's not from Relic. It's not from THQ. It's from a Russian company, Saber Interactive. A company known for things like World War Z, not AAA games. The internet loses its mind. But here's the thing. Nobody believed it would actually happen. Too many canceled sequels. Too many broken promises. This felt like vaporware. Here's the first piece of evidence. Swarm technology. Saber developed this for a World War Z in 2019. An engine that could simulate hundreds of zombies with individual AI, all attacking simultaneously without tanking performance. Most games fake crowds. Pre-baked animations, scripted paths, swarm tech. Every enemy has an individual path finding, target selection, and attack patterns. They climb over each other, they react to terrain, and they swarm! You know what Warhammer 40k is famous for? Insectoid aliens that attack in endless hordes, thousands of them, overwhelming numbers. The original Space Marine had orcs, tough but manageable. They needed to feel like an extinction-level threat. Saber upgraded swarm tech for Space Marine 2. The result? Battles were you're fighting 200 plus enemies simultaneously. Not scripted waves, not fake background models, actual functional AI. On launch day, the game peaked at 225,690 concurrent players on Steam. The highest ever for a Warhammer game. And the engine held. But here's what makes this brilliant. Saber didn't just copy, paste World War Z's systems. They studied the original Space Marines combat loop. The 2011 game had a rule. No regenerating health. You heal by executing enemies. This forced aggression play, you couldn't hide behind cover. You had to wade into the horde. Space Marine 2 keeps this, but adds layers. Gunstrike after a perfect parry or dodge. You get an auto-aimed pistol shot rewards timing, consistent health. The Swarm engine creates dynamic chaos. Mass aliens on hillsides, then split into individual attackers. You're constantly repositioning Chainsword for the little guys, Bolter for the mid-range, and heavy weapons for the big ones. And when one of them charges through the swarm, you feel it. You can actually feel. Now here's where Saber shows they actually care. Little details that nobody asked for. If you keep your helmet on, your character's voice is filtered through a box system. Sounds like you're speaking through armor. Blood and gore, physics after combat, your armor is covered in alien goo and blood and all of that yucky stuff. Walk through water, it washes off dynamic environmental interaction. Weapon biology, the flesh borer isn't a gun. It's a living organism. Look closely. There's an eye on the weapon housing. It watches you. Lore accurate armor. Details. This isn't just a game. It's a love letter to the setting. June 2024, 3 months before launch, Saber makes a controversial call. Cancel the planned beta. In 2024, every live service game has a beta. Stress test servers, gather feedback, build hype. Saber says no. They need those 3 months for polish. The community panics. Is this the game in trouble? Are they hiding something? But September 9th in 2024, launch day, 2 million players in 24 hours. The game runs smoothly. No major bugs, no server crashes, 83 on Metacritic. The gamble for Saber Interactive paid off. Let's talk about what makes this different from every other shooter in 2024. The entire campaign supports 3-player co-op. Not tacked on, not separate missions. The main story. You and 2 friends, or AI, fight through the campaign as a squad of Space Marines. Most modern shooters, single-player campaign, separate multiplayer. Space Marine 2 says, no. Space Marines fight together. This is the core to Warhammer 40k lore. Tactical squads, brotherhood, the Emperor's finest operating at a unit. But here's where it gets interesting. Operations mode, 6 standalone PvE missions, 3-player co-op, separate from the campaign. You pick a class, tactical assault, vanguard, bulwark, sniper, heavy, and run missions with unique objectives. Each class has a skill tree, unlockable perks, weapon customization. This is the endgame. And Saber committed to live service updates. New operations, new enemies, new difficult levels. By mid-2025, the game hits 7 million players. From 2 million at launch to 7 million in under a year. Why? Because they kept adding content. Now, full disclosure, Space Marine 2 also has a PvP, 6v6 multiplayer, Annihilation, Seize Ground, Capture and Control. It's fine, not groundbreaking. The community is split. Some love it, Some think it's unnecessary, but here's the thing. Saber included it because the original Space Marine had PvP. They didn't want to cut features. They wanted the perfect sequel. Now, is it perfect? No. But for fans of the original, that matters. For fans of any original series, doing the same thing or something that made that game special over again in the remake or remaster or second one, those things matter. Now let's talk about what this game represents. Space Marine 2 is not a blockbuster AAA in the traditional sense. It's not Call of Duty, it's not Assassin's Creed. It's a AA plus game. Mid-budget, focused scope, built for a specific audience. And it worked. 7 million players, 225,690 peak concurrent players on Steam. The biggest Warhammer game ever. Why? Because Saber understood something that publishers forget. Niche audiences are underdeserved. This is an audio clip. Warhammer 40k fans have been waiting 13 years for this. They don't want a watered down, mass market version. They want authenticity, and they want their brutality with authenticity. They want to feel like an 8-foot-tall, genetically engineered killing machine. They want the grim darkness of the far future we all know is coming. Maybe next year, in 2027. This is an audio clip. And when you give a passionate fan base exactly what they want, they show up for you. That's the investigation. But here's your assignment. Have you played Space Marine 2? What's your verdict? Drop your case notes down below, in the comments, and if you got games that the archives forgot, let me know. I'm Nicholas, your file clerk. And if there's one thing you remember, it's that the archives are always watching, and they're always logging and putting stuff away. So be a good person. Be a good human.